Welcome to the 2023 EU Agricultural Outlook Conference as part of the EU Agri Food Days. We're honoured to be joined on his birthday, no less, by Agriculture Commissioner Janusz Wojciechowski, who has just come from the podium where he delivered a, I would say, stirring and inspirational speech about the present and future of EU agriculture. So I will invite the Commissioner to say a few words of introduction, and then we'll be happy to take your questions. Commissioner, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your coming and your interest about our Outlook conference, which is very important events each year. That's we present our first of all our plans, our programs generally, and this year there is maybe the first presentation of my personal vision, what should be done in the future for the European agriculture before this very important structural dialogue announced by Madam President von der Leyen. You could hear the speech of Madam President and my presentation. I think that they are common elements. President von der Leyen mentioned the importance of the food security and importance of the economic safeguard for farmers. I presented my vision 4S: security, stability, sustainability and solidarity. And I think that, I hope that it will be taken into account during this debate. But the concept of debate is that firstly we will hear our stakeholders, our farmers, all partners who are interested about the future of agriculture, who will participate in our discussion, in our debate. But from my point of view, once again, there is very important to pay more attention for the main function of agriculture, which is to ensure the food security. In the long-term, medium-term perspective, there is no risk for the food security in the European Union, because European Union is self-sufficient in the main agricultural products like cereals, like meat, like dairy products. We produce more than is our internal consumption. But there is some also negative phenomena we can observe that I said today in my presentation. We lost 3 million farms during 1 decade. We have huge challenge about the lack of generational renewal. This is also the reason that many farms disappeared in the last decade. But this is interesting that we lost, first of all, many small farms, but also the process is different across the member states. But for example, in Netherlands, we lost 27% of farms. But this, the Dutch agriculture is very modern, very well developed, very intensive, very productive, but also the more than 20,000 farms disappeared during one decade. This is a process which should be stopped, and this is huge challenge for the future agriculture policy. Also, the question of generational renewal. I mentioned the question that we need to strengthen, first of all, the crisis management instruments. One of the reasons, according to my observation, is that the reason that young people don't decide to continue the family tradition in farming is too high risk to be a farmer. That's in these difficult circumstances, climate risk, climate events, that's political risk, also the risk created by such problems like pandemic, etc. And this is the reason that we need to have more instrument to support farmers in the crisis situation. The rest you could hear in my speech, and thank you once again for your coming and your interest. I'm ready to open for your questions.
Dziękuję, Commissioner. So, folks, we'll open the floor to your questions one at a time, opportunities for a follow-up, and we take it from there. Please, could you state your media as well, please, so we know.
Hello, Sophie Dupuis for Context. Question on the strategic dialogue. Could you explain us what will be your role in the strategic dialogue that has been announced by the President of the Commission? And what can be achieved in such a short time while we have been debating about agriculture, farm-to-fork strategy for years since the beginning of the mandate? What can be achieved in 3 or 4 months that the dialogue?
I can say what is my expectation that in this dialogue. I expect first of all strong support of the farmers organization for further financing of the common agricultural policy. We need the arguments for stronger budget. The budget 0.3% of GDP is not enough to ensure food security in long-term perspective. And I hope that this dialogue will give the important signal, first of all, for member states, because the budget is finally decided by member states, by the Council, European Council, and that will be easier after this dialogue, having the results, having the positions of the farmers, not only farmers, that we will be stronger with debate about the future budget of the common policy reform. Of course, please remember that decision-making process will be it will be the task of the next Commission, next European Parliament. But this is very important to present the results of this strategic dialogue for this political bodies which will decide about the future of the common agricultural policy. And I hope that also that my presentation was a kind of my personal contribution. Is the first contribution is the strategic dialogue, this 4S principle. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We can add, just to say, you saw in the President's video message, she outlined some questions that will guide the strategic dialogue. We don't have a precise launch date yet, and the exact makeup, scheduling and desired outcomes of the dialogue are not for announcing at this stage. But as soon as we know more, we will happily share that with you. Next, please.
Angelo Membro from Mansa, Italy. In the last 3 years and a half, we have been discussing food systems. So agriculture as part of the system.
Yes.
Now there will be a strategic dialogue on agriculture and with farmers. What does this mean for the approach of the Commission to food systems? Is agriculture back at the center of the scene, on the top of the agenda? What's your wish about that?
Agriculture is at the core of the food system, of course, but to ensure food security, this is not enough to have only agriculture. This is, you rightly said that we need to have the synergy in all system. You are a journalist from Italy. That I many times use Italy as a good example of the well-organized system of good connections between farmers, processing industry. The farmers are well organized in the cooperatives. This is not the Italian case. Many other countries, they have the same. But I visited Italy. I maybe know better this your system. This is the very important synergy between all elements of the system. This is the reason that I said solidarity, because we need solidarity with farmers, among the farmers, good organization of the farmers, between farmers and consumers. This is experience the local markets, for example, short supply chain. This is kind of the solidarity with farmers, among farmers, and between farmers and consumers. Yes, we should to solve the problems only with the large, wide perspective, taking into account the whole food system, not only agriculture. But agriculture is, of course, the first and the most important part of this system.
Thank you. Please come back to the front here.
Thank you. Sara Johansson, AFDL. A substantial part of the crisis reserve in the ag budget for next year has already been booked in for farmers that was flooded this year. Do you think the crisis reserve is that the right tool to help to support farmers with this new normal we have with climate change, with more extreme weather events? And if not, what would be a better tool or better tools? And also, can farmers expect to get more money for climate adaptation without doing more to lower their own climate emissions?
Thank you for this question. And the crisis reserve was prepared for not for the support in the not for the farmers affected by natural catastrophes, disasters. It was prepared for first of all for the economical crisis situation on the market. But no, unfortunately, the scale of the problems, the damages caused by natural disaster is such big that it was impossible to refuse to support the farmers using the crisis reserve we used for the farmers affected by dry in Spain, in Italy, and farmers affected by flood in Italy, in the last time in Greece and Slovenia. But this is no temporary solution only. But in the future, this is first of all, this is not enough. 450 million euro. This is the volume of the crisis reserve. It is not enough to the scale of the problems which we have. It was the reason that we decided to open the door to the state aid. I think it was one of my achievements during my mandate that agriculture was included into the system of the state aid opened in March 22 after Russian invasion against Ukraine for the economy generally affected by the consequences of this war, but farmers were included. And to this time, the member states spent more than 9 billion euro for the state aid. The biggest, Poland, 3.7 billion euro. The second was Italy, 2.4, and the France, more than 800. The rest countries less. But now this is necessary, but this is not the good solution for the future, because it creates the non-equal. This disturbance on the market, and this is not the solution for the future. We need to have more instruments for the crisis intervention in the European level, Union level. We have the common market, common agriculture policy. We need to also to have the common intervention policy, fair policy for all member states. There is many arguments to create something like the third pillar of the common agriculture policy, which is the pillar for the crisis intervention. This is my idea. That first of all, I said many times that we need stronger budget, but first of all we need the stronger budget for the crisis intervention. And I hope that it will be understanding, first of all, in member states that we need such instrument in the CAP budget, I hope. And the structural dialogue will be helpful to achieve this goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Natasha, please.
Yeah. Hello. Hi, Natasha Foot for EUActiv. I just wanted to push again on the point from Angelo about the decision to call the strategic dialogue specifically on agriculture. There's been a lot of backlash from this, specifically from more of the fork side of the food chain. And I'm wondering what you would say to people that criticise the name of agriculture, strategic dialogue on agriculture, the ones that say that it should be a strategic dialogue for food systems. What's the decision behind that, and why do you stand by the agriculture name?
This is a working name that's of the title of this dialogue, but of course it is impossible to discuss about the agriculture, discussing only directly about the agriculture, how we should produce, how we what methodology should be allowed, what should be banned. No, we need to discuss about the Now, for example, the food security depends about also many aspects which are not directly linked to the agriculture. Condition of life on rural areas, implementation of the long-term vision for rural areas. This is very important to improve the life condition in rural areas. Not only for the question of young farmers. This is not only the question financial support for the young farmers. More direct payment, start-up funds to start the farmers' activity. This is not enough. That we need also to improve the life conditions on rural areas. There is a problem of exclusion from the access to services, to public transport, many challenges, and we have to see the all problems, not only agriculture. No, we have the long-term vision for rural areas, but the vision of the long-term vision for agriculture should be complementary to this vision. Thank you.
Commissioner Bartosz.
Yeah, Bartosz from Politico. You were warning for many years, I suppose, against some of the Green Deal files, like the pesticide reduction law, saying that they're proving difficult, or they will prove difficult for farmers. Do you find that now that the Green Deal is slowly winding down Farm to Fork, that you've been listened to, and that your cautionary, your words of caution have been listened to, and now the Commission has taken a different approach?
There was, thank you for this question, there was many concerns at the beginning of the Green Deal, when the Green Deal was presented, Farm to Fork strategy, biodiversity strategy. But firstly, we achieved good political compromise on the Common Agricultural Policy reform. And for example, the eco schemes, which is the main instrument to make agriculture more friendly for environment and for climate, my first observation, after we have now the full picture from all member states, but in the majority of member states, there is no problem with farmers' application to the eco schemes. Farmers are interested. Farmers want to do more for the environment and to receive more payment. Thanks of this. There was a risk during the. I remember during the debates in the European Parliament, in the European Council, that the eco schemes, this system is too much bureaucratic, and that in consequence the farmers will be not able to participate, and we will lose some money. No, this concern is not in reality. There is no risk that we will lose the part of budget because of not interest of farmers to the eco schemes. No. And the second, that they are free regulations or directive which are outside of the CAP. This is the pesticides regulation, greenhouse gas emission directive. The last time was agreement in the trialogue that the most sensitive from agricultural point of view question, which was covering the cattle farms by this directive, was changed, and the cattle farms will be not covered by this directive. This was only one serious concern of farmers, which is now now solved. Natural restoration law also, there is possible that there is significant improvement, reducing the concerns of farmers. Thank you.
Please.
Yes. Hi, Maria from Euractiv. So early on you were talking about the importance of the EU not being divided, but then we know that there are countries which still have national bans, so Hungary, Slovakia, and also your home country, Poland. So what does the Commission plan to do in this sense, and how does this situation threaten the strategy we have been talking about?
No, maybe this question would be better addressed to the Commissioner for Trade, but of course I'm interested about these issues. And first of all, that we are observing, monitoring the situation, and would be the better solution would be found in the dialogue between Ukraine and member states, bordering member states. That experience from the time of the European ban, regional ban for products to 5 countries, was it was maybe some. I was a little surprised that at the same time the transit was higher and Ukrainian export via solidarity lanes was bigger than before this ban, before May. And I know that there are talks between these member states and Ukraine. The best for both sides would be to find the compromise solution in the dialogue that we are observing the situation. Okay.
Any further questions, folks? Please.
Noel Barden from the Irish Farmers Journal. You mentioned the importance of free trade in agri-food goods, but at the same time farmers in Europe would say that they're facing ever-increasing environmental and animal welfare standards.
Yeah.
How aware would the Commission be, just from an agricultural perspective, of the possibility of leakage occurring, carbon leakage, or maybe European production of a high standard being displaced by lower standards elsewhere?
Mm-hmm. I mentioned also during my speech that open trade, but with the principle of reciprocity, and of course this is not not easy to establish in one moment that we introduce this principle. We require the same standards, because we are cooperating in the WTO rules, according to the WTO rules, and this is not always possible, the 100% the same standards. But we during the FTA negotiations, this is one of our priorities, to have to ensure the same standards. It was in negotiations with New Zealand, in negotiations with Australia, which was not finalized because of the problems in agri-food trade. But yes, but this is very important, and we try do everything which is possible to achieve the reciprocity. But no, we have to always remember that European Union is the biggest food exporter in the world. The value of European food export to the third countries in 2022 was almost 230 billion euro, and the surplus in trade is about the 60 billion, 58. Precisely speaking, 58 billion euro surplus in the trade, which means that we have offensive interest in the trade, many offensive interest, and our interest is not to create the barriers in the trade. This is one of the reasons of my mission to India. I am going today with representatives of the farmers, agribusiness from the many countries. 51 representatives of the agri-food business I will be accompanied by them, and this is very important to open this huge Indian market for European products, because we have negative trade balance with India, and there is there are barriers in this trade which we will try politically to reduce, and this is very, very important also. Thank you.
Please.
Leticia Hrenković, Agro Club Croatia. In Croatia we have an outbreak of African swine flu since this summer. Over the past 2 weeks, Croatian farmers have been protesting. They are closing the roads and saying that the government is not doing anything, not taking the adequate measures to save them. What's your opinion on that? What do you think about the measures of Croatian government, and what's your message to Croatian farmers?
This is situation with the African swine fever is very difficult. I remember the long time difficulties in my home country Poland, and also in many other countries. The problem is that we can observe the concentration of the pig meat sector. The farms became bigger and bigger, and from one hand, there is easier to protect, to introduce the preventive measures in the big farm. From other hand, the risk of that farm will be affected is also higher in the big farms. That statistically, no, the number of affected farms is more in smaller farms, but because there is a lot of small farms, not so many the big farms, but the risk is statistically higher in the big farms because the question of the transport, movement of animals each day, there are some operations in the farm, and this is it creates the risk. That we have the European rules what is necessary to do when there is African swine fever. We find the cases of African swine fever. Farmers are obliged to implement these rules. The question is also what I can observe. I don't know what is the situation in Croatia. Maybe I need to see to get more information on this. The problem is the structure of the processing industry, slaughterhouses. The problem is there is no problem where there is a farm and close to the slaughterhouse because the short distance to move the animals, which are not affected, but they are in affected zone. This is the problem, the structural problem. If we have not enough the small slaughterhouses, the problem is higher. Maybe from this perspective, the situation should be also evaluated in Croatia.
There are not too many slaughterhouses big in Croatia, but they are banned. Farmers are banned to slaughter on their own farms. Yes, this is the problem. What's your message to those farmers, Croatian farmers, considering this disease?
My message can be that I will, after returning from India, I will see the situation and we will analyze what we can do, how to support. Please remember that the measures, preventive measures, this is not the responsibility of the Commissioner of Agriculture, but to support farmers. This is of course the responsibility of the Commissioner for Agriculture. Maybe the question to use the crisis reserve, we will analyze the situation.
And to complement, there will be an opportunity to discuss at the next Agri-Fish.
The next Agri-Fish we have, it will be the good opportunity because just after my returning from India, 11th of December, we have Agri-Fish Council and good time. I think that the Croatian government will present the information in the AOB points.
Before we jump back to Bartosz, is there anyone else who would like to ask a question who hasn't so far? No? Bartosz, please.
Many farm groups are raising concerns about the transport duration, transport rules that the Commission is supposed to unveil tomorrow, that the further restrictions on how long animals can be transported. You mentioned slaughterhouses. What's your take on these concerns, and do you think what do you make of the issue of live animal transport?
I don't know when will be the publication of our communication and the draft of transport regulation, because we discussed today's college meeting. But I will not inform about details because. But generally, I support. I presented my strong support for the improvement of the animal welfare conditions in the animal transport. Also to reduce the transport time, because this is the most sensitive issue. Generally, this is good also for agriculture because this requirement. This is inspiring to reduce the distance from farm to fork, and also, as I said before, the structure of the processing industry. It will be the signal that to create more small slaughterhouses and to reduce also the needs for the transport. This is very important.
As you know, in the first instance, Bartosz, this is a question for our Sante SPP colleagues, so I invite you to follow up with them after this for more precisions, which may or may not be available at this point.
Maybe tomorrow conference on this topic? Yeah, it's okay.
Anything else, folks? Please.
Thank you. I'll just repeat my last question. Do you think that farmers can expect, you speak a lot about the need for a bigger agricultural budget, and can farmers expect more support without any strict requirements for them to lower their climate emissions?
I think it also, I presented my position that the additional requirement should be that we need to incentive the farmers, not to force them. According to my observation, that our farmers are not able to do more for environment and for climate without additional financial support. And the better we can achieve more by incentives than by enforcement. This is my observation, and very positive. I have the very positive observation from the eco schemes. This is very good idea to propose for to offer for the farmers voluntary improvement of the standards with financial support. This is the best direction also for the future. And I will recommend, my recommendation is to continue the eco scheme system, maybe to make it less bureaucratic. Sometimes this bureaucracy is created not on the European level but in the member states. There are some problems, but generally this direction. More requirement, more support.
Maybe I can add that the questions offered by President von der Leyen in her video address to frame the discussions that will take place in the future strategic dialogue touch precisely upon this. So I think we can expect this to be one of the headline topics with the various stakeholders during the strategic dialogue as it unfolds. Please, Konstantin.
Yes, Konstantin Kocherolz for Top Agrar. Commissioner, you said that you are in favor of mandatory capping direct payments within the CAP. Would you encourage member states to use their possibilities to cap direct payments even in the current cap term, maybe after a half-time check or something like this?
In the current, I think not, that there is not possible this to introduce. Theoretically it's possible, but politically I think it is not possible in the current CAP. But the member states, they have choice. They can introduce if they want. It is possible also for the countries who didn't introduce the capping. They can do this in the amendments to the strategic plans. We are open, but in the future, that we have to observe the processes, the concentration of land. That's majority of European land is in the hand of the small groups of farms. 3%. They managed more than 50% of land, 52%. And this is not a good trend, the concentration of land. And capping is one of the instruments to prevent it, this process. This is also the question of Ukraine. That's Ukraine. We will start the negotiations with Ukraine. We know that there is a big part of Ukrainian agriculture is dominated by the big agro holdings, and we should to avoid the situation that we will pay EU subsidies for such big companies, agro holdings. The capping, mandatory capping in the whole European Union would be the good answer also for the concerns about the impact of Ukrainian membership in the European Union. But this is always, I know the problem. I will always presented the position that we need mandatory capping. I presented this position when I was a member of the European Parliament. I was presented also in the opinion which was for the CAP reform when I was a member of the European Court of Auditors. But no, the decision is political decision. First of all, the member states. But in the debate about the future of agriculture, I will again present the position that mandatory capping would be better.
Back to Natasha, please.
Yeah, thank you. On the theme of the accession of Ukraine and direct payments, I mean, do you see a future for direct payments with the accession of Ukraine, or do you have to completely rethink that funding model? Will it be possible to have direct payments when Ukraine becomes a member of the EU?
No, that's members should have the same rights, and if Ukraine will be a member of the European Union, will be included also to the system of the common agriculture policy. But if it will be the with capping, with transition period, all the member states which joined the European Union, they had the transition period. For example, Poland and other member states in enlargement 24, they had 10 years period to achieve the full direct payments. There was time then the payment was co-financed by state budget. And yes, we need the appropriate transition period. We need to special safeguard measures to react for potential shock on the market because of supply goods from Ukraine. No, we have to remember that our experience from 2022, the import from Ukraine, agri-food import from Ukraine to European Union market was increased from the value of this import was increased from 7 billion euro to 13 billion euro. 6 billion euro practically during 7 months. 6 billion euro additional import, but 5 billion from this amount was import to these 5 frontline countries, bordering countries. And we can compare this with Mercosur. Mercosur, there is many concerns of all time, many concerns of farmers because of potential consequences of Mercosur. We have the study which shows that additional import, increase on import as a result of Mercosur will be about the 2 billion euro per year, 2 billion, which means that Ukraine during 7 years was 3 times more import than Mercosur. And this is the reason that we should be very careful. We need to safeguard measures possible to use if the situation will be disruptive for the European market. But no, we have to first of all to take into account the geopolitical reason for Ukrainian accession, that which is the most important. Ukraine is fighting for its freedom, and as a Polish citizen, I can say that such long than Ukraine is fighting for its freedom, we are not forced to fight for our freedom. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any last few questions, folks, before we wrap it up? Everyone happy? In that case, many thanks, Commissioner. Happy birthday again.
Thank you very much.
Honoured to have you with us today.
Thank you.
I would invite all the members of the press to stay here in the room, have some coffee and cakes, and we will have a briefing shortly on this year's medium-term outlook report. Many thanks to all.
Thank you.